Hey, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today, we are going to continue with the Programming 101 series, and we will talk about control statements and specifically so-called selection statements. I would say we just jump straight into the code. I'm going to put myself in the bottom right corner again. So the first statement is the if statement. The if statement is used to branch code. So up until now, we just coded stuff like we made a variable, gave it a value, and then we printed this value to the console. Oh my god, what is Visual Studio doing? So let's just print this value. Value is, and the value as well. And that's it. So if we run this, this will just print value is 1 to the screen, and that's it. So this code is run from top to bottom. But what if you only want to print the value when it meets a certain condition or a certain criteria? Well, that's where the if statement comes into play. So generally, you can say about the if statement, it's used to branch the code. What does that mean? Well, let me show you. Let's say we only want to print this when, or if, the value is larger than 5. So we're going to write if opening parentheses, closing parentheses, and then curly brackets. And this is pretty much the body of the if already, and the condition goes in here. So our condition will be if a is greater than 5, we will print this line. So let's try this. And we shouldn't get any print because the value is 1 and it's not greater than 5. And as you can see, there is no print there. So now, last episode we talked about operators, and you see that greater operator here, one of the comparison or relational operators. And that's really it about the basic if statement. There are two more parts to it, because there can be an else, which is then the other case. If this condition is true here, a is larger than 5 or greater than 5, we print this. But what if it's not? Well, we're not doing anything, but we can. So let's just print something else here. What do we print? Greetings from the else branch. And yeah, let's leave it like that. And I used endline here as well. I usually use just new line. It doesn't really matter for our purposes, so we just print a new line here as well. If we run this code now, we should see greetings from the else branch, which is there. Okay. And the third part here is now we can introduce an else if as well. So else if opening parentheses, and this is the same than the original if statement up here. We also need the curly brackets to, and now the condition. And let's say if a is less than 5, print, let's change this up here, value is larger than 5. Remove that and add the new line at the end. And I'm just going to copy that line, paste it here, and is smaller, or let's say is less than 5. Capitalize those two, and now we should see value is less than 5. Yeah, value is less than 5. And that's it really for the if statement. There's nothing much else to say. Like, this is one of the most important statements or parts of a programming language, but it's really easy to understand because it's really just an evaluation of a series of one or multiple logical statements. A is larger than 5, A equals to 5, B is not equal C, whatever. You just need like a conditional statement that evaluates into true or false. And you can expand that, of course. You can... this is absolutely valid. One more thing that is very important. If A is larger than 5, we will never ever run in those two branches. You can only run into one branch. If you run into the second branch, you can never run into the first one because you passed that one already. And of course, if you run into the else branch, you will not be able to like run into those two anymore because you passed them already. But if there should be, for example, like a second and a third else if branch, well, if you ran into this one here, you cannot run into this one anymore. So that's the if statement. So the next statement is the switch statement. So we have a switch statement, and there's no condition here now. But we put a variable in here, like A. And you see it's already like syntactically valid. There's no compiler error. We can run this. That will be probably a warning. Yeah, there's a warning because we don't have a default statement. So what does that mean? Well, you just code all the values for A that you want to cover, for which you have something to do. Yeah? So let's just say switch case. It's actually called switch case because what you write here is case. Now, for example, 1 and a colon. And in case of 1, you do something. For example, you print A equals 1. Okay. So like every case has to be finished with a break statement. And you don't have to, but you should have a default case as well, which a program like runs into when none of the other cases hit. So we just do the same. We print something, and I'm just going to print default here. So this is fine already. We need the break statement here, and this looks good. Let's just run this, and we should see default because A is not 1. Yep, and there we go. Okay, so now let's change A up. Let's change it to 1. Yeah, it's fine. Worked. Let's just introduce a couple of other cases. Let's say 2 and 4. And we just print A is 2 and A is 4. And let's just change A to 2. We should see A is 2. And of course, if we change that to 4 now, we should say A equals 4. There we go. And to be honest, that's it for the switch statement as well. Those statements are really not complex or hard to understand in the syntax. Yeah, they are not hard to write. They are like easy to understand, but they are very, very important. An if statement evaluates a logical condition which ends in true or false, while the switch statement evaluates the value of a variable. They might look different, but those two statements are there in every programming language I know, at least. So that's it for today already. We talked about if and switch statements. Next time we will talk about more of the control statements. There are like several other categories. And we will probably talk about loops. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, hit the like and subscribe button. And I would say have a nice week and see you later. Bye bye.